A very special edition of Xperience Sessions right here on IndigoMusic.com. I'm Rohit, and I've got two fine gentlemen. One is a full-time musician, another is a full-time entrepreneur, and also a full-time musician. I'm talking about Raghu and Tushar. Welcome to IndigoMusic.com. Welcome to Xperience Session, guys.
Thank you.
Total pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Total pleasure to be here.
Tushar, let me start off with you. You are an entrepreneur. You're full-time into your business with Healthify Me. How do you manage, coming out with great music and also running a company?
Well, it's not easy. I'll tell you that. Urjare was a beautiful coincidental meeting that me and Raghu had. I watched him play live on stage. I walked up to him and suggested we should jam sometime. And a serendipitous chat turned into a jamming sessions, turned into us recording it. And 2.5 years later, we were able to release the track. So it took a lot of time. And the primary constraint was that I do have a full-time job as Healthify founder and CEO. But music is my passion. It is very close to my heart and my soul. And it is something that I wish to invest more time in going forward as well. I'm just lucky to have found partners like Raghu, with whom I've been able to jam and produce wonderful tunes.
Fantastic. Now, Raghu, you play the bass guitar for Lucky Ali.
Correct.
How different is it working with Lucky Ali and Tushar? Because I've met Lucky Ali a couple of times. So how different is it, working with him and working with Tushar?
Oh man, so let me start with a story and then answer your question, right?
Yeah.
So that music system there belongs to my granddad, right?
Wow.
My mom's dad, right? And that was the first time in this very room, there used to be a little table there. And sitting on the table, I heard Lucky Ali for the first time. And I thought to myself, dude, it's really cool to be a musician. So this was when I was in 7th standard, I think, right? When Ux came out, or Suno came out, the first
Right.
album. And today I'm playing with him, and now I'm in the same room answering in an interview where you're asking me about him. So it's like, it's full circle beyond like any imagination, the fact that tape recorder is still working, it's still there, and that's Lucky's CD on top of it. So with Lucky, working with Lucky is I think one of the few musicians who are really established that I've met and come across, who gives you complete creative freedom with what you do on stage, right? But also there is the way the songs have to come out. Lucky Ali's music is not like metal oriented, and it's not rock, and it's not heavy. It needs a certain, as he says, a certain terror. You need to really like hold back on certain things and let loose. So with Tushar, I think from day one, we've been letting loose.
Right.
Like we've just been experimenting, because the thing is that I found that he didn't tell you the whole story, right? He walked up to me with a video of him jamming to us playing on stage.
Right.
Nobody's ever done that. And I've been playing music for like 17, 18 years now. Nobody's ever walked up to me and said, hey man, I was jamming with you and here's a video of me doing it. Right. So right then it was like, okay, let's like see what we can do. So I think we've never had any boundaries, no, Tushar, into like saying, okay, we have to write a song in this particular genre or whatever. Right?
No, it's experimental. I mean, Urjare started as more of a like a Hindi pop ballad, and goes into blues zone, and then ends on a power rock chords, and it's inspired by our lives. It's inspired by our story. So definitely, I think it's been very serendipitous and full of flow and creativity.
Right. And how long did you guys take to, come up with from the scratch to the final product? How long did it take?
Should I be honest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The song was written the first day we met. The
Wow.
first time I ever Tushar was when the song was written, yeah. And we came across many iterations of the song, but at the end of it, we went back to that, saying, hey man, look, I found a video of us doing this. And that was the core we built the song on.
Wow.
But it took us about 2.5 years, to be honest.
Yes,
And
yeah.
also the fact that, Raghu would be traveling internationally many times, or I would be off somewhere in the world. And even in the pandemic times, Healthify was going through its own turns and tosses. So it took us a while before we could actually land it, and very happy that we managed to release it out.
I think the pandemic has been obviously bad, but good in some cases, because there's a lot of independent artists who've come out with their music. Because I've been interviewing so many, and all of them say, lockdown gave us time to make music. And I think that we should take it as a positive thing that came out of lockdown. Of course, there's been the negative ones, but that I think it's a great thing that's been happening. And Raghu and I were discussing about how now the classes have gone digital. We are having this chat digital. It's A, saves a lot of time. B, it's just easier to do than traveling in Bangalore traffic, and just makes it. And one thing is with music, I have seen one thing, like all the independent artists. Tushar, in fact, I had interviewed this one more gentleman. He's also an entrepreneur. He also runs this company, but he's also an independent artist, and he found that passion during the lockdown. Now, in your company, which is Healthy Family, do you promote music in any way, or do you do this, music promotions or something like that?
To be honest, no. It's currently a orthogonal hobby and a passion of mine. I hope one day I can reconcile these two. Today, these are independent in nature. But I think, bouncing off of what you said, pandemic was very fascinating. In fact, Urjare has a Sufi reprise version that came out because me and Raghu were hanging out, and it was all done in a single take. But, both of us were thinking about Urjare at the back of our minds, but both of us had just gotten COVID, and it was the first wave, so it was a bit scary. And somehow, whatever was going on in our minds, or however we were placed at that time, boom, came out this one piece that's sitting at my home actually. Raghu just kind of said, hey, listen, one last song before we get into this quarantine situation, both of us. And he played some incredible music, and I recorded it in one take. The Sufi reprise version, which is a 2.5-minute exploration of Sufi-esque sounds, of meditative sounds, of a little bit of a deeper reflection sounds, is all coming from that one take. And it was weird that it was in a way COVID influenced, quite literally, for both of us. And right after that, we'd go into a 14-day quarantine.
Now, what's next? What's cooking in the studios of Tushar and Raghu?
I guess just wanted to talk a little bit about the Urjare song. A lot of, I think, the music that we do is driven by our own lives and our own aspirations. In fact, the song Kahani, which we wrote before, was because, one day I was going through a particularly low time, and Raghu just came and said, here's a pen, here's a paper, start writing. Take out your emotions. And Urjare is also inspired by our own journeys. Urjare is about finding your passion. It's about taking the leap of faith. It's about not feeling stuck in your life. Whether it's in your corporate life or personal life, it's about, really, most of these constraints are self-created, is what we believe. And it challenges one to sort of break those and find and drive one's pursuits. I've been actively doing that as an entrepreneur. Raghu's been actively doing that as a musician, is clinging on to that passion, to that aspiration, and to really Urjare towards those things. And that's what the song is about. So I think as we think about our studio, we like to call it, colloquially as Bangalore Basement. That's our label name. And as we think about what's coming next, it's again going to be a lot of sounds as well as emotions and conversations, I believe, from our own lives. Or things that we see around us. Raghu, do you want to add anything?
I think I think you've articulated this beautifully. I couldn't do any better. To be honest, we do have a bunch of songs that are there, but we need to find the time to sit and do this now. It's just that.
It's all in the hands of Tushar, I guess.
No, Raghu's as well. Post-pandemic, Raghu's become busier with all of his tours and travels, and so it is both ways. We're still trying to find that rhythm, but Bangalore's a lovely city, and Bangalore allows for such. I think there is no other city where this is possible, that an entrepreneur and a musician meet serendipitously and start making these songs about their lives. I think this is Bangalore spirit, put inside the studio.
Absolutely. And Raghu, any chance of getting lucky early on with Tushar as well?
We have spoken about this. It is definitely there.
It's
let us see. It's on the books. Yes, it's in conversation for sure.
I think that would be.
I think we want to chase a lot of different spaces. So we've done explorations in a little bit of blues and rock and Sufi in both Urjare and Urjare Sufi reprise. We've done a little bit more of a classic Hindi ballad with Kahani. Now we're also looking at taking this to a few different dimensions and emotions and spaces of sound experimentations, from Hindustani classical all the way to Western and country and rock. So, and I'm pretty sure what I can promise is that in about a year's time or less than that, we'd have an album out.
Fantastic. That is something that we are looking forward to as well, Tushar. Once again, thank you so much for getting in touch, both Raghu and Tushar. We're going to be playing your track on air right here on indigomusic.com in Bangalore as well as in Goa. Thank you guys for taking time out, and all the best for your future endeavors and, of course, the album that you just mentioned, Tushar.
Thank you.